This week, I've been living with the 2025 Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid Nightshade. Base price for the Toyota Corolla Cross Nightshade is just over $30,000, and as tested is just over $35,000. It's finished in red with a black two-tone color combination. Looks very nice. The Nightshade is essentially an SE with an appearance package. Has some black accents throughout, different headlights, black wheels, black door handles, nicer interior colors as well. I actually considered a Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid recently, so you're going to be hearing some impressions on what this vehicle has been like to live with this week from a prospective buyer. I've taken on road trips, taken it to the grocery store, taken it to work, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and pop open the trunk here. No power liftgate, but that is okay. It is kind of a smaller trunk, but this is a subcompact SUV. This is literally essentially a lifted Corolla, and you'll see that when we get inside. No spare tire back here, which is unfortunate. You get a cargo shade back here. I believe this is an option as well. And this does have the optional JBL sound system, which I highly, highly recommend opting for sure. 60/40 folding rear seats. Pretty practical SUV, pretty low load height for all your stuff. I fit a few suitcases back here and groceries just fine, but if you had a family, this may be a little bit tight for you. Roof rails look pretty sharp. Probably stow a couple bikes up there or whatever you need to. Corolla Cross embossed in the side. Let's go ahead and check out the back seat. You can see it does have a cloth interior with these red accents throughout. Climbing back here, I'm 6 foot. The driver's seat's in my position. It is very, very cramped. I hardly have any leg room, and I got plenty of headroom though, like 3 inches or so. Do get a map pocket, a couple vents back here, a couple USB-C ports down there. No pull-down center armrests, and just the cup holders in the doors, which you are kind of limited. Let's take my Swenson's cup here and place it. Yeah, you are kind of limited on the cup holders back here just a little bit. But once again, you know, I'm not sure I would buy this as a family vehicle. Just more of a commuter car for you and your spouse, or just you to go to work and back. These seats back here are kind of hard. It is kind of a one-piece foam type deal, cheapo material. Feels like not the most impressive back seat here. You do get hard plastics. It is very cheap feeling. So under the hood of the 2025 Toyota Corolla Cross is a 2-liter naturally aspirated hybridized 4-cylinder mated to an eCVT. Makes about 196 combined horsepower. This is all-wheel drive, like I was saying, and returns pretty good fuel economy numbers as well at about 42 miles a gallon combined. Uses 0W16. Not a whole lot going on under here. We'll get into the driving characteristics as we go along on our test drive here shortly. Climbing into the driver's seat here, you do get touch sensors on the doors for locking and unlocking, manual adjusting seats that are extremely comfortable, surprisingly. A lot more comfortable than the Toyota Corolla that I got out of a couple weeks ago. Climbing into the cockpit here, you're greeted with 2 analog gauges, which is super nice. Digital screen in the middle. You get an 8-inch infotainment with a backup camera with guidance lines that do not move, which is actually interesting. Wireless Android Auto, wireless CarPlay works really well. No connectivity issues this week. The infotainment is your standard Toyota infotainment. That looks very nice. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay Focus, no lag, no problems with it this week. Single zone automatic climate control here. Down through here, you do get a wireless cell phone charger, your gear selector, drive modes, EV mode, electronic parking brake, brake hold, couple cup holders, which are a little awkward for certain sizes of beverages. It kind of just goes all over the place. So mileage may vary on the drinks situation down through here. And I noticed some people have already spilled some. Decent sized center console here with a 12-volt outlet and a USB-C port here. You can already see it's already kind of getting scuffed up a little bit. Glove box here, manual dimming rear view mirror, kind of the frameless style, looks very nice. Illuminated visor mirrors and garage home link. This does have an optional sunroof. Interior quality, like I said, is very cheap. There's a lot of cheap feeling plastics all the way around. Some rattles, some squeaks this week. Not the most high quality vehicle that I've driven, especially for the price. I really struggle to see. I've been in some other vehicles like the Mazda CX-30 and the Hyundai Kona, and while they are very similar in terms of price here, I feel like those other vehicles are leaps and bounds nicer interior quality wise than this vehicle is. So with all that being said, I think that about covers all of the interior features. Let's go ahead and take this for a spin and see what it's like on the road. It's really weird to see an analog tachometer nowadays, especially in a hybrid where it just looks like you stall out all the time. It's quite comical. Really cool though. I no complaints on analog instrumentation at all. I prefer analog instrumentation over digital any day. And as you can hear, this 2-liter 4-cylinder is very nasally. It is very loud. Braking feels pretty good. There's no weird squishy regen, into the brake feeling that I've experienced in other Toyota and other hybrids as well. Throttle response is pretty good. There's no huge delays at all off the line. Just feels like your standard Toyota hybrid. I know I already said this, but I do want to stress the engine noise is pretty loud in this, and can get annoying. You can even hear it over top of the stereo. Make note of that on your test drive, and if that's something that you can live with. That said, like I said, this thing is pretty responsive. You put your foot down, it goes just fine. Doesn't complain too much. I feel like the power level here is pretty adequate for the size of the vehicle and the class. I don't find it to be underpowered at all. I do, off camera, I have driven a naturally aspirated, non-hybridized Corolla Cross, and I would not even consider that at all. I would only consider the hybrid powertrain. It's a lot more powerful and a lot more usable and a lot more efficient than the non-hybrid Corolla Cross. See, no issues at all there getting up to speed. This week I've been averaging about 43 miles a gallon. The MPG there has gone down quite a bit since I've been filming multiple takes of this. Overall, the efficiency of this vehicle is pretty good. You get paddle shifters behind the wheel for your Corolla Cross. Don't know why anybody would use paddle shifters for a CVT, but they're there if you need them. Going around the corners here, steering is very light, very vague, not a lot of feedback. It's an easy car to drive. I could probably steer this with a pinky. It's not the most fun to drive vehicle, but I would just chalk this up as just a nice A to B commuter car. On this bumpy road, I think the Corolla Cross rides pretty decent. It's definitely not class leading. It can be a little bit crashy over bumps, and certain bumps when you go around corners, it just kind of upsets the chassis a little bit, but it's not the worst. Let's do a quick highway merge and see how much power this thing has getting on a highway. Spun the tires there just a little bit. Like I said earlier, I think this has an adequate amount of power to putz around in. This does come with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0 with your lane keeping assist, lane tracing assist, predictive driving assist, all those safety features nowadays. It's very easy to engage. Just press that button there and that button there, and your adaptive cruise is engaged along with your lane tracing, and it keeps you centered in your lane. Obviously, it's going to prompt you to keep your hands on the wheel like it should. It's not an autonomous or hands-free driving experience, but it does a really good job of keeping you centered in the road. Road noise here at 65 miles an hour on this highway is pretty loud. It's definitely not the quietest, but it's not the worst either. It's definitely not as loud as something like my own personal Honda Civic that I traded in a couple years ago. You can adjust your following distance here as well, just with the press of a button. You can even change the mode if you want to just use regular cruise control and not adaptive. You can do that with a push of a button there, which is nice. Wish more manufacturers would do that. I do like on this Corolla Cross how you do sit a little bit higher so you can see in situations like this to where you're not blinded, especially in snow seasons as well. Have snow embankments on either side of you and you can't really see what's going on. Let's do another quick highway merge and see how it does here. and floor it. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. And for it to return, you know, 42, 43 miles a gallon pretty consistently without even trying, I mean, that's fine. And that pretty much just sums up this entire experience this week about the Toyota Corolla Cross. It's fine. If you need something that is going to last you a long time and you don't care about the driving experience, you just care about getting from point A to point B, then the Corolla Cross is for you. Which brings me to my next point. Will I be purchasing a Toyota Corolla Cross as my primary vehicle? And that is a no, unfortunately. This is a pretty good vehicle. I just feel like it's lacking soul. I think it lacks character. It's just very boring. I'll be honest, I was a little bit underwhelmed driving the Toyota Corolla Cross. I actually recently, you know, have been shopping for a vehicle, and I just got out of a Toyota Camry Hybrid, a brand new 2025 Toyota Camry Hybrid LE. So this is the base model, and it had the convenience package and the cold weather package, which added a leather wrapped steering wheel, heated seats, smart key access, and things like that. Power seat as well. And you know, coming into this thing, I'm very disappointed. The Camry is one heck of a vehicle, and that one's all-wheel drive as well. And you know, comparing it with this thing, I know it's a little bit less practical. You know, the Camry being a little less practical because you don't have the hatch and the extra cargo space. But the Camry rode better, has a lot better features, and comes in cheaper than this model here. I even think the materials in the base model Camry are a lot better than this. So I'm really failing to see the value here, especially when you can get a base model RAV4 to be had at very similar price point. One thing I do want to make note of, it has been sweltering hot here in Northeast Ohio. Earlier today it was just 95 degrees, and the air conditioning actually was having a hard time keeping up with the temperature. I could not get this thing to cool down very much in that direct sunlight. Now it's fine with some shade here, and I'm cool and comfortable. But earlier it was sweltering. It just wasn't doing the job. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the 2025 Corolla Cross Hybrid Nightshade review. Shout out to Toyota for providing this vehicle for me to film this week. Thank you so much. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are in the comments about the Corolla Cross. If you think there's value here, if you would purchase one as well, be curious to see what you guys' thoughts are on that. Please be sure to like and subscribe as well. Got a lot more reviews coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.